Hello, I'm Jimbo from season 1 of Canada's Drag Race.
Jimbo, from the minute you arrived, you transfixed us with each big, bodacious look. Now, sashay away.
Thank you.
We love you.
Thank you, Jimbo.
Bye, Jimbo. Fuck you.
One of the aspects of Jimbo is very hyper-sexualized, I guess, to put it that way. I don't know how you would describe it, but can you talk a bit about where that aspect of your drag comes from and how you felt it was received on the show?
I would say that I'm, like I said, a clown, and a clown is all about making things bigger, more extreme to, extract the most out of it. You sort of want to blow it up so you can look at it. And drag is about pushing boundaries, about social norms, or testing those norms. And for me, sexuality was a huge part of me growing up. There's a lot of repression around sexuality. There's a lot of shame around sexuality. And so there's a lot of power in owning sexuality and not fearing sexuality, and about challenging preconceived notions around what is sexy and what is beautiful and what's appropriate for a man and what's appropriate for a woman. And, so yeah, I like looking at it and laughing at it.
How did you feel it was received on the show? I mean, especially in the family makeover challenge, people were freaked out by your sister's, your sister drag.
Well, I go by what the fans' response was, and the fans lived. They were like, yes, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Brooklyn is a pageant queen, and so there's certain there's certain ways about going about drag from the point of view of a pageant queen. Most of the things I do and the way I express myself, Brooklyn would never express herself that way. So it doesn't, it's hard for her to look at me and go, yes, because it's not what she sees in herself. And so, there's lots of love there and there's all those things. But I hope looking back at the show, the judges look at it and go, yeah, I don't really know what our problem was. That was actually awesome and so funny. I don't know why we didn't celebrate it. And yeah.
From the beginning, you kind of came in and people didn't really know who you were. It kind of seemed like you were like the mystery player in Clue or something like that. Tell me a bit about the reception, because you came out and people were kind of like, who is this? And immediately, Shea Coulee, Jujubee, Latrice Royale, all these people kind of pegged you as like one of the ones to watch on the show. Do you think it gave you an advantage, kind of being this unknown person?
No, I would say it gave me a disadvantage. A lot of the other competitors had history with the judges. They had history with, viewers and things. So they, a lot of the time the judges were looking beyond what they were doing on the stage, and they were referencing things that they knew from, their time performing together out on the road, or, so when I was on the main stage, I was judged on what I was doing in that moment, with no preconceived notions around who I was, and there was no prior relationships. Whereas a lot of the other people on the show, they had sort of a baseline understanding of who they were, and when they didn't perform to their best, they sort of in the back of their head would always say, oh, well, I know you're an amazing performer, and don't worry, you're incredible. And, when Evan Bedell was there, he told Tainomi, you're my favorite performer. And, there's, having the judges know you and believe in you, it didn't really work for Tainomi because she obviously went home. But just the fact that, the judges have that prior knowledge about you and your skills, that it can be an advantage and a disadvantage, I guess. But, in my case, I don't really know. You can't really change it. It is what it is. But I would say it's both an advantage and a disadvantage.
It's funny because you don't come off as a low-key person on the show, but it's sort of this idea that people to know who you were? Like, are you just kind of below the radar, or how big of a presence are you in the Victoria drag scene for, you know, people who obviously haven't been there?
Well, you know, my drag has sort of always been kind of outsider drag, and I wasn't really accepted by the drag community here. So I created my own stage in my home where I'm on right now. And we hosted our own shows here, and I performed with the local vaudeville troupe. But you know, like my drag doesn't focus around lip syncing, and my drag is mostly around stand up. It's about connection, it's about character, and eventually I do weave in the element of lip syncing at the end, but it's only once I've really established a relationship and really had some fun beyond just lip syncing and dancing around, which only really gets you so far. I get the most joy out of connecting live and speaking and vocalizing and sort of seeing what happens. My reputation here is that I put on an amazing show, that I put on weird shows, and to expect the unexpected. And so I have a really great reputation around here. But the other drag community here, you know, like the main drag queen in town here never booked me for a single show for the past 10 years. And of course now once you're on a show, everyone's like, oh wow, yes, you are amazing, and da 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 da, and you're like, okay, cool, thank you so much. And you know, I remember when you didn't give a shit about what I was doing for so long. Yeah.
How does this level of exposure feel? Because on one hand, you know, like you said, you have all this sort of positive feedback from the fandom, but then on the other hand, there's this sort of Jimbo was robbed kind of like chatter that then kind of turned into this bullying of Jeffrey Boyer Chapman, or apparently did, based on, I mean, like what you see on TV. He has not commented, obviously. But what's your take on, you know, the chatter around the judging and the role, if any, that the Jimbo is robbed kind of contingent played in that?
I love just JBC so much. And, you know, watching that online, I felt terrible for him. This is his dream come true as well, to be a judge on the show, to support all these queens, to be seen in the world on this platform. I can't imagine how disappointing and sad that would be, to be received by the world so negatively when really you wanted to be a star like everyone else wants to. They just want to be on TV, they want to be happy, they want to celebrate, they want to make art. And he was cast as the bitchy, judgy Judy, and he took it really far. And so I'm sure he's watching and going, wow, next year I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. And I'm sure the writers are also going, next year we're gonna tone it down a bit. But you know, it was all done to make a reality TV show, and it's not real. It's the only thing that is real are the people on the show, the humans behind it, and they have feelings and are real people. And so when people just disconnect and they become a character and they want to attack the character and they want to go crazy about the story, they have to remember that behind all of this are real, actual people. And in the case of JBC, you know, that was extremely hurtful, and it was so extreme that he had to be, you know, he had to remove himself from a social platform. And so that's pretty extreme. And it's really sad that there was so much love that went into something, and at the end there's just so much disappointment around it. And so, you know, everyone should just focus on the positive. I was so grateful and lucky to be on the show. I'm so grateful and lucky to my fans and the judges. That was their first time doing that, and everyone needs it some time to learn. They obviously need to learn a few things about judging, and that's okay.